Hello, everybody out there in RumbleX and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and today we're going to talk some more about Eat, Pray, Love. This movie, this chick flick, rom-com with Julia, the queen of chick flicks, Roberts. At least she was for a while. I don't know what I think she's doing like Netflix stuff now, streaming now because she aged out. She did. Okay, they all do. Okay. But yeah, for a time she was the top of the heap. Okay, highest paid female actress. Had creative control over all of her projects. She could tell the director what to do. She could have cast members fired if she didn't like them. I mean, she had a lot of power. Still does to some point, but they're not really making movies anymore. Everything that Hollywood's producing flops, so they're starting to not put money in, like serious money. They're not putting that into movies anymore because there's no return on investment. They're just losing money, and people aren't going to the theaters anymore, not the way they used to, because well, there's a lot of reasons for that. But one of the reasons is streaming. I mean, why would you spend $20 on a movie ticket and then $80 on food? Just so that you can sit in a theater when you can just watch it at home for free. You got your big screen TV, you got your surround system. Why go to the theater? You see what I mean? The experience is gone. So there's a lot of reasons. That's one of them. But also a major reason is because of movies like this, like Eat, Pray, Love, okay, which was woke. It was woke before it was called woke, okay? It's all about female empowerment. You notice there's no such movie as male empowerment. You notice that? No such thing. No one ever makes a movie about male empowerment. It's always about female empowerment, and I freaking hate that word, empowerment. Like what? Like you're depowered or something, and you need to get repowered. Who the hell took power away from women? Who in our lifetime has had their power taken away? What woman has had their power taken away by me? Nobody. It's a load of crap. It's just there to sell you anger so that you'll spend your money on this crap. All right? And Eat, Pray, Love is a perfect example of this. Eat, Pray, Love is all about narcissism. It's all about being selfish, about go getting yours. That no matter what age you are, okay, you can attract a high value man. Okay? And that the problem with you is it's not you. The problem is them. It's the men. The men need to step up. Okay, the men aren't, being real men, so they need to step up. Now, here's where I call the hypocrisy, okay? Here's where I call it, okay? One of the biggest problems I have with this movie, okay, is what they expect of men. All right, I said this in other videos, there's no men in this movie, okay? The men that are in this movie is the same problem I have with most rom-coms, same problem I had with Sex and the City. I reviewed every episode of Sex and the City, it's on this channel. Same problem I had with these rom-coms that are mostly created by, jilted middle-aged women and gay guys, is that they don't understand men. They don't understand straight men. They don't know what it's like, what we look for, what we're trying to do, what's important to us. They don't understand it at all. Okay? So what they do is they write a parody of men. Okay? When you ask a woman, what do you want in a man? She's going to say stuff like, oh, I want a guy who can provide. They're not going to say support me. They're going to say, a provider. Okay? They're not going to say, I want a rich guy who spends money on me. I want a sugar daddy guy. They're going to say, I want a man who's generous. They're not going to say, I want you to raise my 3 kids that I have with 3 different guys. I want you to support them and raise them. No, they're going to say, must love kids. Okay, they're not gonna say I'm a whore, okay, who smoked more meat than Hickory Farms. I've had my black butt blown out, okay, by 12 different guys in one night, okay, while I was doing drugs and living my life as a stripper, okay. What they're gonna say is I must put Jesus first in their life. Okay, that's what they're gonna say. So you got to learn how to code it. Okay. So basically, what women are asking for, okay, when you ask them directly, they're gonna say stupid stuff like that. Must put Jesus first. Must love kids. Must be generous. Must be self-made. Must be all these wonderful adjectives. Okay. Without telling you why those adjectives are important. Okay. And I get all that. All right, must be able to to convey his emotions. Okay, not emotionally immature. It's just stupid stuff like that that the women want in a guy. Okay, well, the men in this movie meet all those qualifications. Okay, they meet all those qualifications. Okay, they're emotionally available. Okay, they're in touch with their feelings. They make a lot of money. Okay, except for David doesn't really, but I mean, we knew she wasn't really. We knew that David was just a fuck boy until she got through her divorce. We knew that already. Okay, that was just a way for her to feel better. Oh, I can still fuck hot young guys. Okay, I'm still attractive enough to bang a guy in his 20s. You see what I mean? That was just for ego. So we knew that was never going to go anywhere. Even if they hadn't, had their problems, okay, that relationship never would have lasted. Okay, because what he wants and what she wants are completely different. He just wants, a woman to fuck, and she just wants someone to help her get over her divorce so she can still feel attractive so that she can feel good about herself for the next guy that she fucks. You see what I mean? So we already knew that. So the things, that women say they want are epitomized in these guys. These guys are very emotional. These guys basically do what they're told. Okay, like if she tells him to do something or she wants him to do something, they'll do it. All right, they need her because they're weaker than her, mentally, emotionally, physically even. They're weaker than her. Okay, she's the boss bitch. She's the one with the plan. She's the one that's in charge. She's the one that knows what's going on. The men don't understand any of those things. Okay, they're intimidated by those things. Okay, so she has power over them. Okay. And on the surface, that's what women want. They want a man who can provide all the benefits of a relationship while still they're in control, while the woman is still in control. So they want the guy to pay all the bills, but at the same time, they want to be in charge of that relationship. They want to control the money. Okay? They want the guy who's going to, do things for her, go take her car to get fixed, change the oil, things like that. Okay, but they also want, they also want to be, to know that this guy's not going to leave her, okay, because he needs her. He can't live without her. So she wants a guy. Women call it romance when a guy says, "I can't live without you." Oh, no fucking shit. That's exactly what you know why? Because she wants to know goddamn well that you're not going to leave. That you're not going to wake up one day and realize you can do better than her and then leave her for someone better. She doesn't want you to think that. So she wants you to be codependent on her. Okay, that's why they want the romance. That's why they want the flowers. Okay, that's why they want the marriage proposal. They want to lock you down. Okay, the last thing they want is to be worried that some other woman, better looking, more attractive, nicer, less selfish than you, is going to see this guy and fucking latch onto him and take him away from you. Okay, you see what I mean? So that's why they love romance. They basically want the guy to commit. Okay, it's like when a woman opens her legs. At least in my generation, it was this way. If a woman opens her legs for you, okay, that means something. Okay, at least in my generation, it did. Okay, today they'll open their legs for anybody, but back in the day, it meant something. It meant like, okay, I'm choosing you. I'm gonna let you come inside me. I'm letting you inside me. Okay, and I don't do this for everyone, but you're special. Okay. And that kind of solidified the relation, the pair bonding and all that, because now we got chemicals involved and hormones and all that kind of stuff, that kind of solidified it. Okay, kind of made it stronger. Okay, women liked having sex with men that they could emotionally, physically, spiritually bond with. Okay, that feeling you have when you're together, where you're both together emotionally on the same page. You're holding each other. You're both naked. You're holding each other. Okay, you're drenched in each other's, scent. Okay, you're drenched in each. I don't mean that in a bad way. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, where the intimacy is just freaking there. Okay, that's very addictive for women and for men too. Okay, and once they feel that, once a woman has allowed a man to go there, and that she can share that with him, okay, she's kind of less likely to want to just throw it away. Okay, she wants to feel that again with this guy. Okay, because if she tries to bond with another guy, it's going to feel different. You see what I mean? And why do that when you've already got the guy that you want here? You see what I mean? So that's important, okay? And women want to control that. They want to control that guy so they can provide that for them. The downside of this is eventually you're going to get bored of this guy. You're going to get bored of a guy that has no spine, that can't stick up for himself, that has no self-esteem, that is codependent on you. Eventually you're going to get tired of a guy like that. The sex isn't going to be as good anymore, and you're going to start looking for someone else. Okay? And then the woman's going to have to ask herself, okay, am I willing to be vulnerable for a man? Am I willing to let a guy dominate me? Or am I going to play it safe and find a guy that I can dominate? See what I mean? This movie tells you find a guy that's safe that you can dominate. Okay. Now, some of these men are, impressive. They're intimidating. Okay. Javier Bardem's character, Felipe, is intimidating for a woman. He's tall. Okay. He's got this rugged look. Okay. He doesn't have classically masculine feature. I mean, he does, but he doesn't have traditional, he doesn't have an angular face or nothing like that. Okay. He looks like he's got a broken nose. Okay. He looks like he's been punched in the face about 600 times. He's got a very deep voice. So he talks like this, like that, okay? He looks like a manly man, okay? So on appearance alone, he looks like a very testosterone guy, the kind of guy that she needs, because she's very feminine, okay? I mean, she's a boss bitch and stuff, okay? But she's still, when no one's looking, she likes to dwell in her own self-pity and her looks and her food and her traveling, okay? All the feminine shit, right? Okay, she's concerned about, what dress she's going to wear, how her hair is going to look, and shit like that. They're feminine shit, all right? So on the surface, Felipe looks very masculine, but once he opens his mouth, once you start paying attention to what he's actually saying, and once you start paying attention to his body language, okay, and how he acts, okay, and what triggers him, okay, you realize he's very feminine. He's a very feminine man. So on the surface, he looks like, okay, here's an alpha woman and an alpha man. No, this guy's not alpha. This guy's beta because it's written by a fucking woman. Okay, she could never date an alpha because that would scare her. All the alphas that she ever dated have fucking pumped and dumped her, and that pissed her off. She even wrote an article about this. Okay, so she goes for the beta men, and then she blames the beta men for when the relationship doesn't work. She doesn't blame herself. She never blames herself for anything. Now I don't know if she did that in the book, but she never blames herself for anything in this movie. Nothing's her fault. Okay, not even the divorce from her first husband is her fault. Okay, she grew apart from him. We don't align anymore, okay? And she prayed to God, where she got on her hands and knees and prayed to Jesus. Oh, please, God, tell me what to do. Well, she already knew what she was going to do. She just wanted to be forgiven before she did it, okay? And then she immediately got rid of Christianity and became a fucking Hindu, okay? So she don't even know she knows what she wants, but she's going to fucking use whatever she has to in order to fucking get there. And that's what it is. She just doesn't want to feel guilty about her choices. She knows she's being a selfish fucking prick. She knows that the fact that she thinks that motherhood is fucking disgusting. Okay, that giving birth to a child and raising that child is stupid. Getting married to a man and staying with that man for the rest of your life is stupid. Being faithful to a guy is stupid. Okay, she understands on some level that this separates her from most women. Now, in these chick flicks, all the women are this way. Okay, but in real life, they're not. They're not. And we can see that. And we know that. All you gotta do is look around. You're gonna find out that most women actually love being parents. Okay? Most women actually love being married to their spouse. They don't have to think about dating anymore or all that kind of shit, They're pretty happy, okay, with their lives, okay? They wouldn't give it up. You see what I mean? This movie's telling you don't even go there, okay? Be independent. You don't need a man. You don't need kids. You don't need to be a wife. That's just indentured servitude, Your vagina is not for pushing out babies, okay? That's not what it's there for. It's there to have fun. Okay? And you control who you have fun with. You see, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what this movie's promoting. Okay? Under the guise of looking for love. No, she's looking for another guy to manipulate. Okay? And Felipe is just another guy to manipulate. And she manipulated him in real life. She never loved this guy. In this movie, Javier Bardem is 41 years old. We don't know how old the character is. They haven't said his age in this movie. But the actor, Javier Bardem, was 41 when he filmed this movie. Julia Roberts was 42 when she filmed this movie. Now, in real life, when Liz Gilbert met, I think what's his name, Juan Luis, I think that's his name. I don't fucking remember. The real version of Felipe. Okay, he was like 54 and she was like 33, 34 around there. I don't know what the birthdays. He became 55 that year, but I don't know if he met her when he was still 54 or after he turned 55. I don't know. Same thing with Liz. I don't know if she was still 33 or if she had already turned 34 when she met him. Whatever. Okay. But yeah, that's 20 years. Okay. That's a 20-year age difference. This guy's bald, old looking, gray hair, all this kind of stuff. He's not muscular or physically intimidating like Javier Bardem is. Okay, so obviously they took liberties with the real story. Okay, but that's what happened in real life. Okay, and to me, looking at a picture of the real Jose Luis, whatever the hell his name is, Juan Luis, whatever the hell his name is, clearly Liz Gilbert saw this man, 20 years older than her, as a man with money, who was emotionally vulnerable. That's beta male, looked like a beta male, and she knew that she could manipulate him. She knew that this is a guy who can support her while she's working on her next book or her next article or whatever. Okay, so she got to worry about the bills being paid. This guy will pay all the bills, and she can just work on fucking whatever fucking feminist fucking I hate men story article she wants to write. Okay, you see what I mean? That's what she saw. She saw a meal ticket. Okay, a guy who'd already had established wealth, and she used him. And she used him, okay? And once she sold a few more novels that you dumbass women picked up and read, okay, because the publishing industry is all for women, there's nothing written for men, there's no men authors anymore, okay? Everything in the publishing industry is for women, okay? Once she sold a few more novels and shit, okay, she didn't really need him anymore. She's bored of him. Physically, you know, by this time he's in his 60s now, okay? You know, he probably can't get it up anymore. He's not physically attractive. He's an old man. You know, and she's like, no, I still want to come, even though she's older. Now she's in her 40s, and she still wants to be treated like she's some freaking got prom queen or some shit, the captain of the cheerleading team, and she's not, and she never was, but she wants to be treated like that. Okay, so what happens? Okay, she's tired of sex with this guy. She probably never had a legitimate orgasm in her life. Okay, so she decides she wants to experiment. She wants to experiment with women. Okay, and that's what she does. Okay. That's what she does. She starts fucking this woman named Delia Shiraz, okay? And there's one thing lesbians love. They love to steal women away from men. They love doing that. It's like one for them. Okay, they hate it when it's the other way around, okay? And I've done that before, okay? One time I dated a woman. She was bisexual, okay? And she was in a relationship with a woman. She'd gone straight fucking lesbo, okay? But she was a lipstick lesbian, and I went to college with her, okay? And she met me, and I just started evoking something in her that her girlfriend wasn't giving her, okay? And we had a short affair or whatever, okay? But I remember that how her girlfriend felt about that. I remember that very well, and she was not happy. She was not happy at all, because despite the fact that she was a butch lesbian, okay, she was doing an impersonation of a man, and she wasn't a real man like I was. I didn't have to impersonate nothing. I was just being me, you know, and that bothered her a lot. I remember that blew up, and oh my God, the drama behind that. But lesbians hate it. They hate it when their girlfriend leaves them for a man. Okay, well, because that happens more often than not. It really does. Okay, it happens more often than not. Okay, but in this movie, in the chick flick world, you're never going to see that. You're only going to see the woman leaving the man for a woman. Okay, which does happen. Okay, but not at the level that women leave women for men. Okay, in case you haven't noticed. Okay, the divorce rate for lesbians is like 90%. It's really bad. We're talking spousal abuse. Okay, cheating. We're talking everything that's toxic. Okay, that women blame men for. Oh, he beats me up, he cheats on me. That's the stuff that lesbians do in their real marriages a hell of a lot more often than men do. But you're never going to see that in one of these movies because that goes against the message. Remember, gay is better than straight. Okay, so you can only depict gay relationships as good and straight relationships as bad. Okay, because that's Hollywood now. Okay, but the statistics are completely different. Anyway, so she left Juan Luis for a woman. Okay, she did that for a while, but then this lesbian, Delia Arias, I think her name was, and then she died. She died of cancer. And then what did Liz do? She started dating men again. And then the man she was dating to help her get over Delia, he dumped her. And as far as I know, Liz Gilbert today, she's happily married to her vibrator. Okay, but anyway, and that's the thing. Okay, and that's what this movie does. It just tries to feed you a version of masculinity, but it's not what they really want. What they really want is a man who acts like a fucking man. Okay, that's what women really want, because that's not what they're getting. Okay, a man who fucking they can't necessarily control, because they're always got to be on their toes. They never know what this guy's gonna do. You see what I mean? That's what women really want. They don't want predictable, boring, Okay, but they don't want effeminate, and eager to please either. You see what I mean? You want a man with some backbone, a guy who's got things going on, a guy who does not put her at the center of his entire fucking life. See, that's what Juan Luis did. Once he met Liz, she's the most important thing in his life. Okay, and nothing can interfere with that. Okay, now I know that's what women say they want men to do. Okay, but that's not really, in real life, that's not really what women want. They want a guy who's got his own shit going on. He's got other things in his life that are important to him. He's got friends. He's got hobbies. Okay, he's got his job, which hopefully he loves to do. Okay, he's got his own shit going on. Okay, he's got friends. He's got people that he can talk to. He doesn't have to give everything to his fucking wife or girlfriend. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking. That's what women want. They want a man that other women find attractive. Okay? They don't want to be with a man that all the other women look at him and go, oh my God, she's married to some limp dick soy boy beta male. Must be for the money because she can control him. Okay? Because that's so freaking obvious. That's so freaking obvious. But they don't want you to know that. Okay? They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know what's really being played here. Okay? They want you to think this is the normal. This is not only is this the normal, this is the ideal. Find a guy who's all about romance, all about putting you first, and is wealthy and attentive and vulnerable emotionally and generous, okay, and all that shit. But when you get a guy, if you're lucky enough to get a guy like that, what happens? Okay, you're just gonna fuck him over. Okay, you're gonna fuck him over for a big dick, fucking testosterone infused man. Okay, who's probably he's gonna make you come like crazy, but he's gonna treat you like shit, and he's not gonna fall in love with you. Okay, you see what I mean? And that's the guy you're gonna cheat on this guy with. Okay, and this woman ain't gonna tell you that. Although that's what happens in real life. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about, okay? I should write a real chick flick. I should write one. Okay, but they would never make it. They would never make it because it's gonna be too honest. It's gonna be too honest, and nobody wants that. They want their fucking fantasy. They want to watch bullshit and think this is gonna happen to them in real life, okay? And that's what this movie is, okay? It's a load of shit. Okay, so let's get back to the movie here, okay? So, yes. So Felipe is there, okay, Liz decides to ask him out, even though he offered. She decides, okay, you know what, Mr. Tour Guide, why don't you show me around Bali, okay, even though she's already fucking been to Bali before without him, okay, and he's like, all right, I'll take you. All right, so anyway, so they go to the market, of course, and start talking about bullshit. They walk around the street market, they talk about weird fruit and stupid shit. Okay, and who has more stamps on their passport? Like that, they get to a schlong toss as to who has more stamps on their passports. And of course, Liz wins because she's got the bigger cock. It's a metaphor. Okay, Liz's cock is bigger than Felipe's. Well, we already knew that. Okay, once I saw him crying at the bar, drinking his bottle of water while Liz went off and started feeling up another guy. Okay, we already knew this guy was a beta male soy boy cuck. Okay, with no fucking penis. All right, and then he fucking followed her out to the beach to go watch Liz and the other guy having sex. Like, dude, that's fucking creepy as shit. Anyway, so they're talking about stupid stuff. He determines that they are both angelizens, whatever the fuck that means. He said it is in between. Okay, so he describes her and himself as angelizens, all right, which means they're both losers. That's what it really means, okay? Okay, because they renounce the traditions of marriage, family, and settling down. Okay, they're the type of people that live by the boat. Okay, so they're incapable of making a commitment. They're incapable of being married, of having children, or raising a family, of settling down. They're incapable of that. They always have to be on the move. There's always a next adventure. Okay, they can't be tied down to one place. They have to keep moving and exploring new things. Okay, that's what he says that she and him are, and that's a load of fucking shit. She might be that way, but he most definitely is not. Okay, he was married and he had fucking children. Okay, and he was married for a while and he raised his fucking children. Okay, he was tied down. He wasn't living by a boat. And then his wife fucking left him for another fucking dude probably. And that fucking, that broke the little dick that he fucking had left. And now he's a fucking outcast. He secluded himself into fucking Bali. He lives alone. Okay, he's just stuck there by himself with his bottled water and his fucking gay porn. Okay, every day thinking about how he's going to end his life. And then all of a sudden he meets Liz Gilbert. All right, this is a load of shit. Okay, he doesn't live by the boat. He's not an angel. He's just bullshit he's telling her. All right? And of course she goes, oh my God, I like that. Yes, you're right. I can't commit. I can't settle down. I can't have a family. I can't be a wife. I can't be in a monogamous relationship. I can't be raising kids. I can't be it. See what I mean? Okay, they visit a temple of fruit. And of course, it's all white people there. Okay, okay. It's all, if you look at the background, it's all white people. It's all tourists and shit there. So, can you imagine going to like say for example, going to Hong Kong? You know, a place you've never been to before, to look at the culture. What do the people look like? What do the people do over there? What's important to them? And the first thing you do when you go to Hong Kong is you go to a McDonald's. Okay, that's exactly what this is. All right. Okay, so that's what they're doing here. Okay, he invites her to his place for dinner. Let me take you to the best. I'm gonna take you to the best steakhouse in town. It is at my home. Now, in some way, that's kind of slick, okay? But you got to remember who this guy is, okay? We already know he's a soy boy, limp dick beta male. So we know that this is his awkward attempt to ask her, you know, to come back to this place. And she sees that, okay? She sees, oh, he's asking me out. Okay, whatever. Okay, and that boosts her ego, whatever, okay? Anyway, she goes to his place and he cooks her Brazilian barbecue. Okay, and of course he talks while he's cooking the meat and stuff. You know, for her, it turns out that he grew up in Brazil for 20 years. He lived in Brazil. Okay, and then they lived in Australia with his wife. Then he moved to Australia. His wife was Australian. He met her, and then he moved to Australia. Okay, and like a good limp dick beta male husband, she traveled for work and he stayed at home and raised the kids. Okay, so while he was at home changing diapers, you know, making breakfast for his children, taking them to school, she was flying around the world, okay, fucking a bunch of big dick fucking black guys, okay, for her job, and then coming home to him. Okay, that's exactly what was happening. All right, and of course he didn't realize this at all because he's so in love with her and she would never do anything wrong. Okay, anyway, he doesn't go into details, okay, for obvious reasons. He doesn't want her to know, but he's wearing his insecurity all over himself, okay? It's pretty obvious what happened, okay? Okay, why the fuck are you even talking about that? Okay, if this was me, if this had happened to me, I would have told her, yeah, you know, we were together, and then we got divorced. And now I'm here, happy, rich, you know, single, you know, and enjoying my life. You know, that's what I would have said. I would have gone into this and her work, and I took care of the kids, you know, and I was the one that had to change my tampon every month. And, you know, I wouldn't do that shit to her. Why would I fucking tell her that? You know, that's what women want to hear. They want to hear this guy's shit. They want to hear his vulnerability so they can hold it over him later on. You see? They want to know what buttons to push. Okay, where can I hurt this man so that I can control him? That's what they want. And of course, he's just fucking volunteering all this fucking information that she has no business knowing. You see what I mean? And he's not even good at hiding it. He's not even good to hide that this doesn't fucking hurt his feelings. Like, what the fuck? Where's the masculinity in that? Okay, some bitch that I just fucking met, you think I'm gonna tell her all my fucking sad life story? You think I'm gonna tell her how my ex-girlfriend fucking cheated on me and dumped me and broke my heart? You think that's gonna make her pussy wet for me? Like, what the fuck? But that's what a woman would write. Okay? When a woman writes this fucking shit, that's exactly what the men do. Anyway, he doesn't go into details, but I think his wife left him for another man. I think it's pretty obvious, okay? He moved to Bali to run his business. I guess he has an export business, so he didn't need to live in Australia to run his business, so he moved to Bali, okay? And because the kids were already grown and they'd already moved out, okay? Okay, she says that Steven and her ex-husband Steven, yeah, that guy, played by Billy Crudup, okay, that Steven and her were too young and immature. Really? Too young and immature? Okay, because I did the math here. Julia Roberts is 42 when she filmed this movie. They don't say how old Liz is in this movie, but I'm going to assume that Liz is also 42 because the actress playing her is 42. Okay? And so she was married to Steven for 8 years. So that means that at 34 years old, you were too fucking immature to get married? Are you fucking kidding me? This reminds me of a movie I reviewed called Mamma Mia. You remember that piece of shit with fucking Meryl Streep? Okay, in that movie, you had like a 56-year-old Meryl Streep. Okay, a 56-year-old Meryl Streep. Okay, and she's telling her 22-year-old daughter, hey, when I told my mother I was pregnant with you, she kicked me out of the house. So I had nowhere to live. Really? So at 34 years old, you were still living with your mom? Like, what the fuck? Anyway, yeah. Okay, so Felipe says, like, so that's all she mentions, okay? She says that, yes, we were immature when we got married and we just grew apart. That means she cheated on him, okay? And left him, okay? That's code for that. And he says, like, so I take it that hearts were broken? And she says, like, yes. Not her heart. Her husband's heart was broken, okay? And he's like, then we're the same. No, we're not the same, okay? She broke Steven's heart, okay? Your fucking wife broke your heart. That's not the same. That's not the same at all, okay? I don't know why the fuck he's saying this. Oh, because a fucking bitch wrote this. That's why. That's why she's comparing these two as the same. No, they're actually the exact opposite. The exact opposite. Okay, your wife dumped you, Felipe, and she dumped her husband, Steven, okay? So if you want about a toxic relationship, you guys are perfect for each other. Later, they swim in the ocean, whatever, okay? He calls her bullshit phrases like, you are so beautiful, you know, like a master of simp jitsu. So she's constantly fucking metaphorically eating out her asshole while they're swimming together, you know, tell her, God, you're lovely, you're incredible, you're vivacious, you're beautiful, you're all the kind of fucking shit that men who can't get laid do in the hopes of getting laid. Blah, 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 simp jitsu as they call it. Okay, she takes him to Ketut's hut to get his fortune told. Ketut is the fucking Yoda of this movie. He's the Indonesian man, the short toothless witch doctor, shaman, okay, that Liz came to Bali to see, okay, the fortune teller, okay, and she takes him there, okay, to get his fortune told, all right. Ketut tells Felipe, you are rich, you have young man ambition, you have 3 children? Oh, no, that's a callous, I only have 2 children. Guys, he's reading his palm. No, that's a callous. I only have 2 children. He goes, you, and Ketut says, and you are not over your ex. Oh, like he figured that out. And you're not over your ex. He says, and you are not over your ex. You are a bitch who is afraid to open his heart. Well, if I was reading his fortune, that's what I would have said. Mm-hmm. You are afraid to open your heart again? Because you are afraid that you will get hurt again? And your dick won't work. The tampon won't slide in anymore. Yes, that's what I've been saying. That is what I'm saying. Okay, this is not a real man. This is a guy who can't get over his fucking wife leaving him for another man. He can't get over it. He can't move past it. He'd rather punish himself every fucking day, okay, and live lonely, okay, jerking off to his gay porn, instead of actually fucking manning up, sucking it up, going out there and fucking a shitload of women, okay? Because that's the only way he's gonna get over it, okay? That's the truth. That's the fuck all this rom-com bullshit, dude. You want to know if you're a guy and you want to know how to get over your fucking girlfriend leaving you for another guy, your girlfriend, your wife cheating on you, you know what the first thing you do is you fuck another woman. That is the first way. That is the number one thing you have to do. You have to fuck another woman, preferably one better looking than your wife. That's what you have to do. And if you don't have one lying around, okay, guess what? You already fucked up. No wonder she fucking left you. You know why? Okay? Because you're unattractive to women. So what makes you fucking think your wife is going to want to stay with you? See, that was your problem. You should have always had female friends. You should have always had people in your life, friends, outside activities, classes that you were taking, you know, gym memberships. You should always have women around you so that you don't feel socially isolated. I'm not saying cheat on your wife. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you have to have options. There have to be something available. That pretty girl at work. No, you're not gonna date her or anything. But you know that if you wanted to, you probably could. You gotta have people like that. You have to have friends that are female. Okay? You've got to have that already. For when shit like this happens. You see what I mean? And if you think, ladies, do you think I'm being an asshole for saying this? What the fuck do you think she was doing? It's good for the goose, right? And I learned this from women. I'm telling you, women taught me this. Women taught me this. You got to have women around you. And of course, Liz listens and watches all this bullshit fortune telling. Ketut tells him, the only way to heal is to trust. To have broken heart means you have trust for something. I actually agree with him here, okay? He should be sitting on his ass with his thumb in his ass and his dick in his hand. He shouldn't be doing that, okay? He should be out there playing the field. Yes, he should be on dates with Liz, but he should also be on dates with other women. There's plenty of fucking white girls there, okay? He should be on dates with them as well, okay? He should have a circle of friends. This guy has no friends. He has his sister, and she doesn't even want to fucking hang out with him. He has no fucking friends. He has no support group. You see what I mean? That's wrong. He needs to belong to some sort of a community. He needs to fucking have people that he hangs out with, that he does things with. He should have guy friends that he can talk about his emotional problems to, so he doesn't have to spill his fucking guts to a girl that he's hoping will fall in love with him. You see what I mean? He should already have people in his life that care about him. He should already be dating women, looking for the right one. The one that's not like his ex-wife. You see what I mean? And he's not. He's just sitting around with his dick in his hand. And you know why he's doing that? Because Liz Gilbert doesn't know how to fucking write men. She can only write men that are weak. Because she doesn't know what a fucking strong man is. That's why. Can you imagine if Liz Gilbert had met a guy who not only got over his ex leaving him, but was happy and thriving and had plenty of female attention? You know what happened? You know what she would fucking curl up into a ball and fucking die. That's what she would do. Because she wouldn't know how to handle being with a guy. She'd be way too self-conscious. Way too afraid that this guy's not going to find her attractive, that she would curl up into a ball and fucking die and lose her shit. That's what would happen in real life. Because that's how tough Liz Gilbert is. She can't date a strong man. She dates a weak man and then she calls herself tough. Okay, so that's going on. And then Felipe, of course, being a limp dick, soy boy, beta male bitch that he is, he tells Ketut, the fortune teller, he says, "You're telling me to trust again? If I trust, will I get my heart broken again?" Just like that. And Ketut says, "Yes, in 2015, your wife is going to start fucking lesbian behind your back. And your lip dick soy boy beta male. That's why she's going to do it. Because you're a limp dick soy boy beta male. She's going to be fucking other woman. And you're not going to know about it." That's what he tells Felipe. And it's the truth. Anyway, that fat Indonesian assistant is there, the one that always talks without being asked. She's there. She tells Liz that she needs a good man like Felipe. You need a good man like him. Okay? She says, real man, but no real. And to that I say no, she doesn't need a man like Felipe. She needs a real man. Okay, but no real man wants Liz Gilbert. And that's the truth. That's the part they ain't going to tell you in this movie. Okay? But I'm telling you from a man's point of view, a straight man's point of view. That's the channel, right? Okay? A straight man is going to see Liz Gilbert at best a pump and dump. Too much attitude, too much narcissism, too much selfishness, too much entitlement. Okay? Let's get her fucking drunk, whatever. She's having a good time, we'll fuck, and then I ain't going to call her again. Okay? Because she's way too much fucking drama, way too much fucking high maintenance. And why would I want to be with a high maintenance fucking middle-aged woman when I can be with a low maintenance young, hotter, attractive woman? You see what I mean? That's the one I'm going to shell out my energy for. Okay? Not a fucking over the hill fucking slut like fucking Liz Gilbert. All right? And that's the truth. I'm telling you the truth, ladies. Okay? You can hate me all you want, okay? I'm telling this because your fucking man sitting next to you right now, okay, ain't gonna fucking tell you this shit. Because he doesn't want you to get mad at him. But it's the truth. All right. So that's going on here. Okay, Liz Gilbert's too scared to date a real man. No real man wants her. Okay, and she's too scared to try to get one anyway. Okay, so she's never gonna. It's not like she's gonna approach a high value man and try to win him over. No, she's gonna sit there and expect him to approach her. Okay, but why would he approach her when there's younger, prettier, less dramatic options available? You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. All right. So it's a catch-22 for her. Okay. Felipe says, "You don't need a man, Liz. You need a champion." Okay. And then Liz says, like, well, let me know when one comes around so I can recognize him. So now he's referring to himself as a champion. You don't need a man, Liz. You need a champion. See, more soy boy beta male eating out her asshole, over flattering her. See, this is what weak men do. Men that cannot get laid, men that cannot attract women. This is the shit they do. They think that if I keep telling her how beautiful she is and how she needs a strong champion and bullshit like this, that's going to make her pussy wet. She's going to want to fuck you. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. Okay, it just shows you how weak and vulnerable and unattractive you are to women. That's what it does. Okay? You know, so he tells her that. He's like, yes, you need a champion, Liz. I learned that in soy boy beta male cuck school. Anyway, the next scene we have here is Felipe, Liz, and his 19-year-old son. Yes, he has a son. A 19-year-old son named Leon, the guy who can't fucking operate a goddamn coffee machine. They decide they're going to go hiking in the mountains of Bali together, the three of them, all right, and do some family bonding, okay? I'm going to stop my review right here, but I'll be back to continue my review of this piece of shit movie. Before I do, though, I want to show you this real quick. Oh, okay, Diego knows Diego. This is my X. This video is going to be on X. And then Diego de la Vega knows this is my Rumble, and this video is going to be on my Rumble as well. Okay, because you know how YouTube is. You know, they don't like people that tell you the truth. Okay, anyway, I thank you very much for watching this long. I will see you soon on the next one. Bye.